I first want to just mention that you said a couple of things in your opening statement that caught my attention. Words like agile, dynamic, real-time, constant reevaluation. These are things that I think many of your counterparts across government could maybe adopt and embrace, because we don't often see that. The comment was made earlier, we continue to do the same things over and over, and I really appreciate and value the work that you're putting into really focusing on how can we make things more successful within the GAO. Let me start by asking you a question. You have been with this institution for quite some time. We mentioned earlier we're thankful for your service of 50 years. In 2025, it will actually mark the end of your 15-year term as Comptroller General. As we think ahead for the agency and understand that you want to be somewhat deferential to the process in finding and onboarding a new leader for the agency, what are some of the critical performance functions that should be required for an incoming Comptroller General?
I think you need someone who has a broad perspective on management issues and policy issues in the government. GAO started out as an organization focused on financial management issues following World War I. And we've changed dramatically over a period of time to evolve to meet the current needs and the future needs of the Congress and the country. But as part of doing that, right now, less than 10% of our workforce are financial auditors. We still audit the consolidated financial statements of the federal government. We still are financial advisors to the Congress. I've been trying mightily in that area. But the bulk of our work are performance audits of government programs, policies, and issues. So we have economists, operations research people, public policy analysts. We've added scientists and information technology, cybersecurity experts in those areas. So GAO is really a multidisciplinary organization. So while we have our roots in financial management, still do some of that important work in that area, you need someone who has a breadth of knowledge beyond just financial management to be able to run GAO effectively and serve the Congress going forward. You need someone who can maintain our nonpartisan status. That is essential to GAO's reputation and effectiveness. And we're one of the few institutions that are still respected for our independence and our nonpartisan status on both sides of the aisle in both chambers of Congress. And I take great pride in that. And I hope that the next Comptroller General can do that. And then also, you need someone who will be focused on accountability within their organization, but across government, but also treat our people well. I mean, it's very important. One of my emphasis as Comptroller General was to not only have our dedicated people, we were always dedicated to the quality of our products, but not also always the same level of attention on developing our people as individuals, as professionals, and so it's very important. I try to put that on a par, and I hope the next person recognizes that, and because they're a dedicated, talented workforce, one of the best in the world for our type of organization.
It sounds like this is a tall order, Mr. Dodaro, to find someone to fill your shoes in the future.
But I am not willing to take another 15-year term.
All right, fair enough. You don't want to make it 65 years? I mean, that sounds like a good, nice round number.
If it was up to me.
Let me pivot to another topic, if I may. One of the Select Committee's recommendations from last Congress was that the committees of jurisdiction should examine the underlying statutory authorities for the support agencies and determine if they need to be updated or modernized to better support your work for Congress. In the light of that recommendation and looking at GAO's organic statute, which I understand is actually from the 1970s, do you have any recommendations of where committees of jurisdiction might consider changes or updates to improve the agency and enhance your work and strengthen the service to Congress?
Yeah, there have been selective updates past 1970, 1980. We were given our own personnel authority, which has been terrific. We're not under OPM rules, regulations. We have a whole different pay system that we've had. We're not on a GS system. And up through the most recent change was 2017 when Congress reaffirmed our right to go to court to enforce our access authorities if agencies did not give us the information that we need in that area. So, you know, my feeling on this is it's very important that Congress be very prudent in opening up the legislation for GAO. Once you do that, you invite the executive branch to participate in the discussion of how they're audited. And our independence is very important. And so, you know, because the president would have to sign some legislation, they weigh in that process. Now, you know, Congress is in control. We'll have to see what happens. But I think anything that our authorities right now are strong. We're able to do everything we need to do for the Congress. And I would encourage the Congress to be very careful.
Okay.
And GAO is unique, you know, because, you know, we have to be independent, and that's why we're in the legislative branch.
Absolutely.
And I think my philosophy is if there are things that Congress would like to have GAO do, we should have a dialogue about it.